back in.
Just a quick question to ask the Secretary of State. Do you accept that the UK has changed since 2014?
The United Kingdom hasn't changed since 2014, but I think what you're referring to is the fact that the United Kingdom is no longer a member of the European Union, the Club of Nations that was the European Union. I think you're referring to that.
It's one example, but even just
well, give me another example.
Another example would be that we've had consecutive governments that Scotland has outright rejected. We've had an austerity programme that has absolutely hammered all of Scottish budgets, all of Scottish services.
I'm afraid you're completely wrong in that. If you look at the numbers, the budget for Scotland has increased year on year, and the deficit, especially during COVID, has grown and has been supported by the United Kingdom government. There has been zero austerity in Scotland since 2014.
And as I'm sure you're aware as Secretary of State, that the budgets that you're referring to, when you consider inflation, actually in real terms, Scotland does not have.
Well, again, the block grant has Barnett consequentials on top. I mean, I heard an SNP MP argue the other day that Scotland didn't get things like Crossrail. Well, the block grant and the Barnett consequentials go through my office and under my nose, and I can assure you, billions of pounds went to Scotland as a Barnett consequential for Crossrail. £1.5 billion is going over the next 2 years as a result of last week's announcements on business rates, on health and on education spending in England. So there is a very generous share goes to Scotland, and actually, as we know, it's about 20% more in terms of public spending per head than it is in England.
I would never deny the fact that Scotland receives money, of course it does, but I'm asking, do you accept that under the umbrella of the economic policies that your government have introduced, that due to inflation, it's actually not that generous of a budget?
As I say, we all have to operate within the budget that's set. That's across the United Kingdom. It's not purely for Scotland. Inflation is a global problem, and we have to work as governments within the budgets that we have in front of us. But we have always stepped up to the plate with the deficit, and we've always, as I say, had us, Scotland, so the UK government stepped up to the plate with in supporting the deficit, and us, Scotland, have received our very fair share of the Barnett consequentials.